Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Thank you everyone that submitted questions for this week's Walking Dead Q&A. Generally, I think everyone's pretty excited for the mid-season finale. Little sad to see it come so soon, but I think the things that they've set up, the things that they've teased are actually going to be really exciting. Someone's definitely going to die. Still kind of 50-50 on which person it's going to be, but I think, their top two picks everyone pretty much has in common. So just careful for spoilers from the episode if you haven't seen it yet, but here we go. Let's get started with some questions. Question number 1. George Rocca asks, what happened to Rick's revolver? I think that we would find that back with Carl at the church. He had a whole spread of weapons back there with Michonne. Rick's revolver is like a really famous gun, and he's slowly passing the mantle to Carl. Like, Carl's becoming a man, so he's starting to wear Rick's hat, so why not take his gun too? I think the more practical reason for him using that gun is it probably just has more bullets in the clip, but I'm not a gun expert or anything like that. Question number 2, Little Hill asks, coda is a term that generally means finale. Since Beth has been singing several times in the show, do you think it's a cute way for the producers to hint at her death in the mid-season finale? And do you think that we're going to have a huge truckload of survivors moving to Virginia at the end of the episode? I definitely think that they're going to be heading to like the next big place. Like, they'll be leaving Atlanta for sure. In terms of who's going to die, I think they want us to think that Beth is going to die. The problem you run into with Walking Dead is that because it's adapted partially from the comics, there are so many people that feel like they know what's going to happen in advance. So I feel like Scott Gimple, Robert Kirkman, the writers, try to do everything they can to create a lot of mystery. Like, they want to give Beth the big win of saving Carol, but Carol doesn't look like she could limp out on her own, at least without someone's help. Add to that Dawn is mysteriously starting to be nice to Beth, even though the doctor says that that's all bullcrap. And I think I may have mentioned the music stuff in my last Walking Dead video, but Emily Kinney in real life has been doing like a whole bunch of other projects now. I mean, they did wrap the season, so it's like all the actors are free to do whatever they want in the off season, but she's been doing so much music stuff lately on her social media that I do kind of wonder if she's rolling into like a music career. I mean, if Norman Reedus can shoot films in between Walking Dead seasons, then surely Emily Kinney can do music. But anytime an actor just like surges onto social media, you do start to wonder. We're within like a week of the finale, so I'm actually pretty amazed that there haven't been liberal spoilers about who actually ends up dying. Of all the people that could die, there have been a lot of pictures from the set recently of them on the set. But like I said, that could totally be for flashback scenes. Question number 3. Oh well asks, do you think it's possible Carl might kill off Gabriel because he thinks that he's a liability to the group? I don't know, like, Carl's been all about believing in the best in people, so I don't think if anyone were to kill Gabriel off, I don't think it'd be Carl, it'd probably be Michonne. She's kind of acting a little bit more like Tyrese lately too. Like, let's try to kill less people. So I think if Gabriel ends up dying, it's going to be because of a walker or someone else. I don't think that Carl or Michonne are going to kill him. If anyone were to kill him because they felt he was a liability, I feel like it would be like Rick leaving him behind. Like, they wouldn't murder him, they just wouldn't bring him along. Question number 4. Sea Monkey Lad asks, am I the only one that wants to see Bruce Campbell make a cameo? Yeah, give me some sugar, baby. I think if Walking Dead turned into a comedy, he would totally show up. They are making an Evil Dead TV series with Sam Raimi, so I think the odds that Bruce Campbell would show up on Walking Dead just went down dramatically. Usually actors and producers are pretty open to stuff like that, it's just scheduling that gets in the way. Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Pratt said that they want to go on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but because they're such big actors, they're literally booked 24/7. Question number 5, Chloe asks, do you think the nail going through Gabriel's foot is anything serious? If he doesn't go back to the group and get help, there could be an infection. So yeah, that was actually, I felt like it was a little bit of an iconography of the Christ wound. Like, Christ got pierced through his feet and through his hands. So I felt like it was a little bit of that too. In the teaser for the next episode, we see him limping to the school where the hunters were, where they were eating Bob's foot. I don't think he's going to get very far on his own, and they're not going to do like a complete separate storyline with Gabriel in the back half of the season. So he's going to have to cross paths with someone else. I don't think he's going to lose his foot, so I think that they will treat it at some point, whoever he runs into. Either he'll go back to the church with Carl and Michonne, or he'll run into someone like Morgan. Question 6, Alice asks, do you think that the season could end in Alexandria, or is it way too early to tell? I mean, it is early to tell. It feels like that could be like a finale moment, like they arrived just in the finale. I do think there are a couple other places that they're going to show up in the back half of the season. Like, they teased a couple other locations. I did hear about a spoiler place from the comic books, so I'm not going to say what it is, but if you read the comic books, there's like a place, supposedly Robert Kirkman spoiled it during season 2, and up to this point, they skipped it, so it's like a place they've already been in the comics. Scott Gimple said that they would be doing things from earlier in the comics. Like right now, they're just past the Hunters in the comics, which is like, mid-60s in terms of issues. So they're going to go to a place that comes from like those first 60 issues that they skipped over. That's supposed to be like one of the next big locations, so I think that that's going to occur somewhere around the middle of the back half of the season, and that'll be the place they go to before they go to Alexandria. But I do think eventually they will get to Alexandria. Question number 7, Zoo asks, let's say Rick's attack on the hospital is successful and he kills all the cops. Who will be the new bad guy? Well, this episode kind of teased that Rick might be the new bad guy, like, or the new Shane, but I don't think that's the case. I think they just want to mess with our heads a little bit. I think the next bad guy they'll meet whenever they get to their next big location. Like, I don't think that the big villain is going to carry over from the mid-season finale. I think they'll leave the hospital and we'll meet like a whole new group of characters in the back half of the season. Question number 8, Mike asks, is it me or does anybody else think that they're just driving in circles? How far did they actually get from Atlanta? So yeah, I mean, they really are localized to Georgia, and even though there's really no boundaries inside the comics, because of the realities of shooting television and budgetary concerns, they just have to keep things much more self-contained. It's the same thing with Game of Thrones in the books and on the show. It's like they can only show so many places, and it costs a lot of money to build big sets. So realistically, if they were going to be nomadic and try to survive and go from town to town, they'd probably be in a new place every single episode. But because it would cost so much money for them to build all those sets, it's just unrealistic for the TV show. I know for me, it's not really something that I think about all the time, but like every couple episodes, I do kind of wonder. I'm like thinking about the map in my head. I'm like, how far away are they from Atlanta right now? Like, how come they haven't been there more often? Like, clearly there's probably more supplies in the city. Usually the television show comes up with creative ways to explain why they do stuff like that. Like the Vatos in Atlanta, like that was a reason for them to leave. Otherwise, staying in the city probably would have been the safest bet. But then they probably would have ended up on Dawn's crew. Just think about that. That'd be crazy. Question number 9, Cody asks, what about Morgan? The show's teased him enough that I believe he'll be relevant this season, possibly the next episode, but they haven't shown him a whole lot, and he is heading towards the group. Yeah, there are a couple options with Morgan. I feel like it would be a big payoff, like a big WTF moment for him to show up in the finale. It's possible that they could hold him to the back half of the season. Like, he does have a story this season, you know, across 16 episodes. Scott Gimple just said that it's mostly going to take place off screen. Like, they do have a very clear plan for Morgan, but the best theories I've seen so far are that he is related to Noah, and since Noah doesn't seem like he's going to be a season regular, like he's not going to be in every single episode, that would be a way to get Noah off screen, like he would go off with Morgan. I would like to see Morgan with the group though for a little while, like that would be a lot of fun. The last time we saw him, it was just him and Rick. It's just that when Scott Gimple was talking about Morgan after that first episode, he said that Morgan has become a lot more socialized and used to other people, so he's heading towards groups of people, just teasing the idea that he might travel with the group for a little while. If that were to happen, obviously that'd have to happen in the back half of the season, just because we only have one episode left. Question number 10, Jerry asks, maybe Beth actually killed Carol without her knowing. Dawn and the doctor worked together. No, I think that they wanted to give Beth the win, like that big win of saving Carol. That could be a big note for her to go out on. Like, if Beth is going to die, then they'd probably want to give her the Carol save. Like, let her go out on a big moment. I don't think that they would demonize her character too much by accidentally having her kill Carol. Like, that would be such a downer ending. And even though The Walking Dead does do that, like they do have really downer endings, I think that if Beth were gonna go, that they would leave her on a high moment. As for Dawn's character, I do love what they've done with her. Like, she's not straight up evil. It just seems like she's slowly losing her mind. Like, they wanted to tease us with the idea of everyone walking away and sleeping in their own beds. But then the policeman escaped, and clearly half of the hospital hates Dawn, so that's going to turn into a shitstorm. And Rick is totally on edge, so clearly a bunch of people are going to die, both police officers and a couple of the survivors, or at least one of the survivors. Right now, I think that only one big character is going to die. Obviously, between the top two that I've been talking about, it is totally possible that both of them could die, though. I'm always impressed when a show can surprise us, even when there's so much canon from the comics that we have to look at. Like, we can say, you know, this happened to these characters, and it kind of looks like they're doing this storyline with this character. I'm generally expecting to be surprised. Thank you so much, though, for submitting questions. These are always a ton of fun to do. Because next week is the finale, I'll try and do a top 10 video, and I'm probably going to double the giveaway, so I'll just be giving like 2 Amazon gift cards away, which actually reminds me, congratulations to this week's giveaway winner, Rory Page. You win the $20 Amazon gift card. Just contact me on my channel for details. So lots of stuff happening in the off season too after next week. I will be doing bonus videos. The Walking Dead's not going to be off the air that long, but feel free to leave requests for specific Walking Dead bonus videos that you really want to see, and be sure to subscribe to get everything. I'll continue the weekly giveaway, so don't worry about that. My next video is going to be Gotham, and then The Flash is tonight. So a lot of finales happening in the next couple of weeks. So be sure to stay up with TV. Catch up if you need to. Just a quick reminder, if you're watching on your mobile phone or on your tablet, there's new mobile links up here. It's the same as the links that I put over here. But click here for my episode 7 video and click here for my episode 6 video. Thank you so much for watching. So let's all high five. I'll see you guys tonight.